Hello all good adequate people. Who watches me knows that I love to make videos dedicated to healthy eating. But every time I, for example, talk about the Mediterranean diet or something like that, I immediately get comments that I regard as outright whining. People are looking for negativity and try to write to me at once that what I offer is too expensive, it is unaffordable for mere mortals, and so on and so forth. For example, if you talk about the fish you should eat, then for some reason everyone immediately grabs salmon or halibut, saying that it is expensive for us, we cannot afford it. At the same time, I am talking, for example, about herring and mackerel, that is, please. People want to see the negative and want to suffer in some way, so who will forbid them? The same situation is with nuts. As soon as you talk about nuts, you get the same comments. But today I will tell perhaps about such a product which is difficult to call expensive. It is pumpkin seeds. And about the fact that they can quite replace nuts, and they can, and even not only can, but should be consumed every day in an amount of about 28 grams. At least that is what some of the national healthy eating guides say. For example, American manuals clearly recommend to people to take 28 to 30 grams of pumpkin seeds a day. Why is that so beneficial? First of all, because it is quite a caloric product. 28 grams contains 151 kilocalories, but these are healthy calories. If we look at the composition, then about 13 grams will be contained in one serving of pumpkin seeds fats. More than half of them are omega-6 fats. The rest are omega-3, which is alpha-linolenic acid, which is useful in many aspects of our health. Also, there is a pretty good amount of protein in there, as much as 7 grams and 5 grams of carbohydrates. But besides these nutrients, there is also 1.7 grams of plant fiber and also a lot of minerals, and quite a large amount of phosphorus, manganese and magnesium. Approximately their amount in one serving is 1.3 of the daily human need for these minerals, and there is also a fairly significant amount of iron, zinc and copper, and in addition, folic acid and vitamins of group B. This is already a very good property of pumpkin seeds, because many people in their diet do not get enough magnesium. Magnesium is a very important element, so any way to replenish it is good. But in addition, pumpkin seeds have a lot of other substances called antioxidants. Antioxidants are those chemical compounds that trap free radicals in our body, that is, molecules that accumulate in us as a result of life's activities. These molecules have active electrons on the outer orbit. They damage our genetic material and cells. And accordingly, the more free radicals, various reactive nitrogen and oxygen compounds, accumulate in the body, the more our body suffers, deteriorates, ages, mutations occur, and so on and so forth. Our antioxidant system fights it, but it does not have time to fight it. Especially as we get older, and this is its property, the antioxidant system becomes weaker and weaker. Therefore, the antioxidants that are found in plant foods are very beneficial. In addition, many studies show that eating pumpkin seeds reduces the chances of developing several types of cancer. First, it is breast cancer in women, it is lung cancer, it is stomach cancer, it is colon cancer and prostate gland cancer in men. Given the high incidence of these types of cancers, eating pumpkin seeds is not stressful at all. You see, gives such a great benefit. On top of that, it turns out that eating pumpkin seeds lowers blood glucose levels. But not only that, eating pumpkin seeds can also relax blood vessels and reduce blood pressure and improve cardiovascular function. How does it do that? Pumpkin seeds are able to increase the production of nitric oxide in our blood vessels. Nitric oxide is a compound that relaxes blood vessels and regulates blood pressure accordingly. The older a person gets, the less nitric oxide is produced in the vessel walls. Simply this enzyme which produces nitric oxide is no longer so active. And accordingly, even if we give arginine to a person, it is an amino acid from which nitric oxide is produced. But as soon as the enzymes are no longer working, this arginine will go to waste. But the use of pumpkin seeds can help in this case and increase the production of nitric oxide, and this in turn not only reduces blood pressure, but also for men who are concerned about potency, this will also be good news. The release of nitric oxide in the vessels of the cavernous bodies is exactly what Viagra, Cialis and other drugs that are used to treat erectile dysfunction do. So you get a free natural stimulant for erectile dysfunction. In addition, many people probably know that pumpkin seeds are used in urology to prevent enlargement of the prostate gland. The fact is that in men after the age of 40, the prostate gland begins to grow, and this benign growth is called prostatic hyperplasia, synonymous with prostate adenoma. Unfortunately, this condition is very common for men to develop in almost every man. I would even say that only some lucky men do not develop adenoma. It leads to impaired urine output, and this can then lead to impaired bladder function, impaired kidney function, and so on. So how do you avoid adenoma? Actually, there is no way. It is men's payment for being men, as adenoma develops under the influence of testosterone, the male sex hormone. Just as women develop myomas under the influence of estrogen, men develop adenomas under the influence of testosterone. And whether you are a sinner or a righteous man or an athlete or an alcoholic, it does not matter. All the same, if you are genetically programmed, you will have adenoma. But many people are not satisfied with such passive expectation. And it turns out that the use of pumpkin seeds slows down the growth of prostate cells and accordingly is able to reduce the unpleasant phenomena that develop with prostate edema. That is, it improves the power of urination and even improves the quality of semen. That is, those people who have problems with the fact that they cannot get pregnant, the quality of sperm pumpkin seeds significantly improves. So these are the nice properties of regular pumpkin seeds. I specifically weighed how much volume 28 grams takes up, and here is a picture of my scale. I got that amount to be 2 tablespoons with a slide. With a big handful, really, there may be a few seeds still sprouting in there, but in general not to bother with scales, 2 big tablespoons of pumpkin seeds. Or you can eat them like that, or add them to soup, or add them to a salad, or add them to some other dishes. It is up to you. I, for example, just like pumpkin seeds as they are. And of course you should realize that pumpkin seeds alone will not help you to be healthy. If you have a poor diet in other aspects, broken sleep patterns, you do not train physically. Pumpkin seeds are good only in combination with a healthy lifestyle. And if you are interested in a healthy lifestyle, for example, if you want to live a long life, to delay old age as much as possible, or to age beautifully, I have a special course on how to fight old age. If you have problems with blood pressure is the scourge of modernity. It is the reason why people eventually die of vascular diseases. I have a special course where I tell you how to reduce blood pressure without medication. If you are constantly struggling with weight diets, are replaced by binge eating, you lose weight, then again gain and cannot without effort stay slim. I have a special course on how to reprogram the body and become slim forever and without effort. If you are interested, the links to these courses will be posted after this video in the description.